What is up, y'all? It is your boy Winston Wolf. I'm back, exhausted. Exhausted. Was it Winning Time? I can't even remember the name of this show. Winning Time? I think that's what it's called. Winning. Let's just go with it. But the second episode was what, 5, 6 days ago? I'm busy. I'm working myself into a coma. And quite frankly, it isn't that good to me to hurry up and do it. I mean, let's be honest. What, 2, 3 people are going to watch this? What does it matter? What does it matter? So, Winning Time, the second episode. Number one, the thing that is really bothering me, and it's giving me flashbacks. Let me turn this down. And it's giving me flashbacks to the first season of The Sopranos. Whenever I've gone back to rewatch the series, the whole Sopranos series, I always skip season 1. And I get mad because I forget that there's like Jackie Sr., characters like that have a big presence throughout the show. I'm talking about The Sopranos. They have a big presence throughout the rest of the show, even though they're not in any more seasons than season 1. Spoiler alert. So I hate that I miss out on that stuff. But the one reason why I don't like it, the whole point of me bringing up the Sopranos, I'm under the influence, so forgive me, y'all. Is Tony Soprano's mom. I didn't like the character. I thought it dragged the show down. She dragged every scene down. I didn't like the actress. I'm sure the actress, because when she passed away, she had tons of accolades. That's great. That's great. But in The Sopranos, I did not like her role in it, and I didn't like the scenes they had for her. So I was glad when the character, I'm not going to say I'm glad the actress died, and that's why she wasn't in, but I'm going to say I didn't like the character, and I'm glad the character died and wasn't in season 2, because that's from that point on, season 2 on, the show, just pure greatness. So, the whole back to Winning Time, having Magic Johnson's mom in this. Okay, so there's this scene where he's back in Lansing, and they're having a party at his parents' house. So while the parents are outside or whatever having a barbecue, he hires like people to put in one of those like spa jet whirlpool type of tubs that they have in like locker rooms, the real nice, real expensive ones. So he's like, "Mom, I want to surprise you." Takes her up to the bathroom, shows her. She's like, "What? You got people ripping up my stuff, blah, blah." And she's just like weirdly ungrateful and standoffish. And it just seems very unrealistic. Like, because I think we would have heard about this. We've heard about athletes' crazy parents, like Todd Marinovich, what's her name? Jennifer Capriati, different athletes where their parents, because their parents were that crazy, that's the only reason you know about them, pretty much. So I think if she was that, like, weird, I don't know the word. It just comes off as weird to me. If she was that weird, I think we would have heard about it. I think it would have been in, somebody would have talked about it by now. Because that's an interesting talking point. Because at some point with these athletes, with any celebrity, you're going to run out of stuff to talk about. If you have some obscure, really crazy, juicy tidbit, you're going to use that to your advantage if you have a show or a podcast or you're writing a book, etc. So I don't think she was really like that, And it's just weird because I'm looking at the character and I'm looking at the scenes and I'm like, story-wise, where could this go to where it could even be interesting? Where is this? What's the end game for this storyline? And it's like, best case scenario, what? His mom starts, accepting the gifts, or what? We know she doesn't die. I think Magic Johnson's parents are still alive. So what? I don't know the whole point of having his mom in it this much and have the character portrayed like that, having the person portrayed like that. Just really weird. So the other thing is, it's kind of in the same vein as pause. I don't know if that's pause worthy, but okay. I think we have enough light. Is the whole Jerry West thing, man. They make him too dysfunctional. I know it's popular right now for people to have anxiety, mental problems, depression. It's like a cool thing, which is so weird to me. But because if you've ever had any of those things, it's nothing to glorify. It's like when you talk to people that have been to prison, and back when hip hop used to really glorify being in prison, like it was a goal in life to get there. People that were really in prison would be like, no, that is no place to, aspire to go to. And I don't get it with people just wanting to have mental problems nowadays. It's weird. But now it's dragging over into, it's already penetrated hip hop. Pause. It's already, every rapper is emo, is depressed, they're antisocial, all this kind of stuff. But now it's getting into characters on TV. That's cool if you're talking about a fictional character, because that character would probably be in something I wouldn't want to watch anyways, so it wouldn't bother me. But this, and portraying Jerry West is the NBA logo. If you don't know, maybe two people don't know, but for those two people, the NBA logo, that silhouette, that's Jerry West. So that's how, again, I've never heard of any of this stuff. Granted, I've never read, a Jerry West biography or anything like that. So who knows? But I think if he was that just mentally messed up, I think you would have heard something about that also. So I think they're really stretching a lot with these characters, with these just insane, personality flaws and quirks and everything. It's just, I don't know. They just make Jerry West where he's just so depressed he can't get off the floor. He's just going wild. He's destroying his MVP trophy. It's just, no. And then this is all because, if you don't know, if you haven't been watching this show, so Jerry West is upset because Dr. Buss, the guy that owns the Lakers, wants Magic Johnson. He wants somebody else. So he's going through it. Plus, just losing to the Celtics back in his playing career, repeatedly. Things like that. It's like, I think Jerry West was a little, mentally tougher than that. I'm not going to believe a competitor, a great person like that, is that mentally weak. I can't, don't tell me that. Stop. I think that you wanting it to be that. Whoever's responsible for this. So knowing that, and not knowing that, obviously I don't know these people in real life, but it just seems highly unlikely that Magic Johnson's mom and Jerry West was like that. Just knowing that this is such a stretch, I can't even get into the show. I think there would have been nothing wrong with just portraying people exactly how they are, because, Magic Johnson's parents, that's an amazing story right there. They have, the parents of one of the three guys, Jordan, Bird, and Magic, that saved the NBA. If you can't get an interesting story about them raising him and everything, then you don't need to be writing anything like this. Jerry West too. Come on, he's the NBA logo. He's a legend. If you can't get a story out of his story without having to exaggerate things, you don't need to be writing. Stop. And I don't have any problem with John C. Reilly playing Dr. Buss. I like it. And the way he's portraying it seems very realistic. It seems very realistic. This last episode they had, even though I didn't really like most of it, but I like the Dr. Buss scenes. Those are the scenes I really like. But there was a scene with him and Red Auerbach, which I don't think it went like how they portrayed it, but I like the scene regardless. They had Michael Chiklis was playing Red. They had a few scenes together and they were all good. But just the show overall, I'm not really liking it. I kind of wish they would have started later, and just talked about these things in conversations in there. Just mention things here and there, because I really don't think there's anything that big that's happened so far in the first 2 episodes. Except for Jerry West not wanting to draft Magic Johnson. To me, everything else, you could just put in, simple comments here and there once you get the story going. Have the story going once Magic Johnson starts playing for the Lakers. That would have been ideally what I would have liked. And then you could have conveyed, Jerry West not wanting to have him on the team just by somebody bringing up the fact, hey, Jerry, you really were right on that one, huh? And seeing, the pain in him being proved wrong that Magic Johnson turned out. Something like that. That would have been fine. That would have been good. and you could have got to more interesting things. Because like once you say the Lakers, Magic Johnson, that's all you're thinking is just orgies, cocaine use, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty much just a countdown until this innocent Midwestern guy ends up getting turned out by the LA life. So just give me that. And like I said, you could have started it when with him starting his first NBA season and jump right into that, because trust me, he partied and did a lot of stuff for years and years and years. So you would have got enough out of there to where you're not gonna blow your wad. Pause. You know, in 1 or 2 episodes with him partying, you would have had decades of that. You know, to fill up the other seasons and whatnot. So I don't know. I think this is kind of a stretch because of I just finished watching Michael Jordan: The Last Dance 2 right before Winning Time, before the first episode aired. So I definitely think this is a product of that, of them wanting to have something sports related, especially NBA related, but having just, you know, juicy story elements, things like that. But you know, the difference is Michael Jordan: The Last Dance, that was factual. That was, you actually had, in a lot of cases, you had real behind the scenes footage of crazy stuff. So there wasn't any exaggerating. You saw it with your own eyes, you heard it with your own ears. With this, it's just, I wish they would just stay true to, and again, I don't know if Jerry West really, you know, I think everybody has mental problems to some extent, but I don't think it's how they portrayed him. You know, like, you could have just done the regular story, it would have been fine. The Lakers story, the Dr. Buss story is an amazing story without all the extra. So, you know, but I'm looking forward to, you know, once the debauchery begins with the whole Lakers, the whole legend of their parties and their lifestyle. So hopefully I end up liking the show. Because like I said, I'm a diehard Lakers fan. I grew up in Lansing, Michigan. That's one of the other few things I like about this. They talk a lot about Lansing. I don't know if they filmed it in Lansing because I didn't hear anything. I'm sure I would have heard of that. But yeah, being in Lansing, if you're of a certain age, like I've said before, you met Magic Johnson several times. So you're just naturally a Lakers fan growing up because of that fact. So I want this show to be good. I want it. And you know what? I wish it would have been a little less hokey in some areas and more P.T. Anderson, more Boogie Nights. That would have been ideally what I would want this show to be. Could maybe turn into it. Who knows? I haven't even paid attention to see if they're doing different directors or the same director for everything. So maybe we could get a random episode here and there that is actually Boogie Nightish. So anyways, Winning Time, episode 2, my super late review that no one's going to see anyways. 0 to 10 dog bones. 3. That's it.